Welcome to the #Attitudeshield podcast, the true mental operating script rewriting program designed for those looking for a change from within. No more hype or sugar-coated promises. This is to-the-point guidance on how to change the way we think to grab the life we always wanted. Are you ready for the change? Now your host, Davidlparker.
Hey, welcome to the next episode of #Attitudeshield. I am Davidlparker. I am the Attitudeshield mentor and the one that helps you build that thing, right? It's another Monday. Well, at least it is when we're sitting in the studio. It's a beautiful, quiet morning. And I really love quiet mornings, and I really love what we're going through, the 4 spokes of the Attitudeshield system. The previous episode, we went through belief. Today, we're moving on to motivation and momentum. And the next week is commitment. And the next episode would be your trackable plan. See, those are the 4 spokes that actually make the shield work. All right. Listen, a big misconception is that you need to be motivated to get rolling. No, that's bullshit. You don't. Research this. It's proven that motivation often, almost always, follows action, not the other way around. I get a kick out of it because I listen to people talk about, well, you know, when I start feeling a little bit motivated, I'm going to get up and get going. When I start to move forward with some things, I'm going to get up and get going. When I do some other things, I'm going to get up and get going. Well, what do you mean you're going to get up and get going? You have to get up and get going to feel the motivation. Inspiration comes from perspiration. I know it's very cliche. I know it's very, I don't know what word you want to use there. It's really not, it is. Listen, I can't say any better than that. It's wrong. It's in your head. You do not have to get motivated to get going. You have to get going. That brings the motivation. Why do you think it's so hard to stay consistent in the gym for some folks? Why do you think it's so hard for some folks to do certain things? Because they're waiting for this emotional motivation to arrive to get them rolling on the momentum. No. It's one of those things you hear people say, well, I'm getting around to it, or I'm getting ready to get ready, or I'm going to get going when I get going. No. You go and then you'll get ready. You get moving and then you'll get rolling. It's a big, big, big misconception that you need to be motivated to get going. No, listen to me. You got to get going. Okay, so let's say it's 4 o'clock in the morning. The world is asleep. You're laying in your bed. You've made a decision that you're going to start going to the gym. Or you're going to get out of bed every day at 4 a.m. You're going to take your shower. You're going to have your coffee. You're going to read. Or you're going to get up and you're going to write your book. Whatever it is, doesn't matter if it's the gym or reading or writing or arithmetic, it doesn't matter. You've set a target that you're going to get up at 4 a.m. Now, your alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and you lay there and you think about it. What happens? Most of us fall back to sleep because we didn't get going. Maybe we were motivated physically to get up and get going, but we didn't get going, so we didn't do it. A lot of people find what is called busy work. If you go back a couple of episodes, you see me talk about, are you busy or are you working? So a lot of people get confused on this part of the spoke, on the motivation and the momentum, where they think that they're doing a bunch of work that's going to build up this momentum to get them going. But really what they're doing is they're looking for any excuse they can not to get going. They're looking for any excuse they can not to be moving forward. Well, that was fun. Little technical error. I know you didn't even notice. All you see is a light change. It's all good. But as I was saying, they got to get this thing where they think they got to get motivated to get going. So you're laying there in the bed and you fall back asleep because you didn't have anything going. You know how you get out of bed? You make a move. You literally swing your feet out and sit up. Oh boy, here we go. Let me tell you how you can get the mind to work. When I was younger, I was when I was younger, I was not exactly the greatest morning person. I was sort of a grumpy, dumpy, lumpy in the morning, kind of not happy kind of guy. And I wasn't exactly motivated to change. But somebody told me that I needed to change or I was going to lose a lot of things. And I was more motivated about not losing anything than I was not changing. And to get this change going, I literally just had to wake up and read a 3x5 card. Because I had made a lot of dumb decisions in my life, and this was the way to fix one of them. But what am I trying to tell you? Because I was doing something to get somewhere. I wasn't waiting for a moment of motivation. I was making movement. I was rolling forward. By reading the card, I was doing something. I was rolling, and then the motivation came. Now, how do you drive good motivation? How do you get yourself moving forward? How do you get momentum? Well, I think the first things you have to do is 5 little rules you have to run by inside of the Attitudeshield spoke here. And the first part of momentum and motivation is part of the shield. And that is you have to distance yourself, regardless who it is, daughter, son, ex-wife, mom, dad, neighbor, boss. If they're a human being and they do any of these 5 things, you have to Heisman them off. You have to push them away. You have to get them out of your world, or this will destroy your motivation, which will, in effect, pull down your momentum, even if you're rolling. But if you're rolling along, you can get tripped up by people who disrespect you. Absolutely. Absolutely tripped up, flipped up, slapped upside the head by people who disrespect you, people who use you, put you down, drag you down, lie to you. So if you want the second spoke to work, if you want to find motivation that is going to be driven by momentum, you want to be able to get up and get the momentum going to drive the motivation, you have to keep these 5 people out of your life. The people who disrespect you, use you, put you down, drag you down, and lie to you. Matter of fact, you have to find the opposite. You have to find somebody who tells you such a sharp truth that it hurts more than a lie. You have to find a person, a mentor, a running person, a running buddy, if you want to, that respects you so much they're going to tell you when you're not doing the right thing. They're not going to use you. As a matter of fact, they're going to give you more energy than you give them. They're going to put more into you than you put into them. Now, that's funny because that's a whole episode right there about if you're working with a bunch of people that are putting more energy into you than you're putting into them, and then you're reciprocating to where you're putting the energy back, how big of a team can you grow, right? You need to look for people who not put you down. They lift you up. They don't drag you down. They pull you up. They push you up. They motivate you. They go crazy to help you win. They call you. You know, I remember back early in my life when I was in my early 20s and I had my first group of mentors, and they told me some great things, and half of them turned out to be bullshit. And one of the ones that turned out to be bullshit was about how to build a team. They used to tell me, well, you never call the team members, you only work with the ones who call you. That was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And guess what? Some people are still teaching that crap today. People treat you the way you treat them, period. So if you're going to stay away from people that lie, disrespect, use, drag, and pull you down, then you have to be the opposite. You have to be the one that reaches out to people and tells them the truth and gives them respect and lifts them up and pushes them up and pulls them out of the mud and the muck and the crap in life and becomes that lifeboat to help them motivationally, because their momentum is going to slow down. Now, how do you do this? Well, first of all, inside the momentum and motivation spoke, you have to remember you don't wait until you've reached a target. Some people call it a goal, to feel proud of yourself. Now, I'm not sitting back and doing a Rocky Balboa. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about take a little bit of pride, a little bit of satisfaction in how far you've come. Be proud of every step you've taken towards reaching your targets, towards grabbing that goal. That helps momentum. Momentum helps motivation. You see how these things are connected, people? They're connected. You have to feel a little bit good about every single little step you take. See, people get too grandiose of idea. Well, I'm not going to be satisfied at all on anything I do until I win the Oscar. Are you stupid? I am not a success until I win the gold medal. I'm not a success until I'm a multimillionaire. I'm not a success until I drive 5 Ferraris. Well, if that mindset can drive you to do and obtain your targets, fine. But the normal, middle of the road person, I hate the word average because what the hell is average in a human? Nothing. We're so freaking unique, it's not even funny. You know, there's similarities between people, but there's no such thing as average human. There's only average mindset. Well, I don't really think you can do all that. Well, good for you. You're right. As long as you don't think you can do it, you're absolutely freaking right. Anyway, as you're moving forward, you've got to make sure that you're taking a little bit of time to say, you know what? I made a little success today, right? Now, listen, I want to talk to a certain group of people about this in spoke number 2. We did the belief last week. Go back and watch belief. Because if you don't believe, then you got a flat tire. If you don't believe, then you have a square tire, and it ain't never going to roll, ever. Once you believe and you start working on your momentum, which will bring you motivation, you may have to get all this to start. Listen. To get all this to start, to get this spoke, to build this shield, to make things happen, to get going forward, you may have to start over. Don't be afraid to start over. It's a brand new opportunity to rebuild what you truly want. Never be afraid to start over. Never be afraid to start over. You're not a failure until you quit. You're not a failure until you sit on the porch and don't try anymore. We've talked about belief. Success is built on this big pile of freaking failures. You want proof? Look at the guy who's talking to you. Listen to my voice. If I had to cover my bedroom, my office, my house walls with tick marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on how many failures I have, I don't think I have enough walls. I have screwed up stuff in my life that should have been simple. I have screwed up stuff, relationships that were almost unscrew-upable. Is that a word? Yeah, I have found a way to break things, freak out, bust things that were unbreakable. I have proven what happens when an unmovable object, or is it immovable? An immovable object is hit by an unstoppable force. I have proven exactly what happens, and it ain't good. But I'm still sitting here. I'm still smiling. I'm still building teams. I'm still reaching out. I'm still trying to lift people up. I'm still trying to be in here. I'm still working on the attitude shield. Why? Because every single day is a chance to start over and rebuild what you truly want. Now, I can't change what I did in the past. You can't change what you did in the past, but you can let that shit go so you can get some momentum going. Because when you get the momentum going, then the motivation starts. When the motivation starts, the momentum gets going. You understand? See, it's like this wheel. It's like you have these 2 wheels, okay? Let's say you have a wheel to the front and a wheel to the back, and they're connected by this chain. And both of them are a motor. So when the momentum starts, it's going to turn to motivation. When the motivation starts, it's going to turn to momentum. Just like the chain on a bike. When you start pedaling that stuff, the one on the front is pulling. But imagine what it's like if you have somebody sitting behind you and they're pulling, or those pedals are moving both gears. I'm just trying to paint this picture for you that momentum and motivation are connected. They're not separate, and they're not one does the other. They're each does each other. Period. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. You got to believe. You got to believe. You got to believe. And when you believe, the motivation will start. When the motivation starts, the momentum will start. Oh, wait a minute. When the momentum starts, the motivation starts. But when the motivation starts, the momentum starts. But when they're connected, everybody. You don't get one without the other. You don't get motivated without momentum, and you don't get momentum without getting motivated. But they do start with momentum first. You take off and get going, you get going, and you'll be motivated. Now, to make this happen, we talked about how there's 4 spokes to the attitude shield system. Inside those spokes are 4 things. Now, we talked about don't be around people who disrespect you, drag you down, put you down, lie to you, and use you. But these are some agreements that I want you to make with yourself, because these agreements will drive your motivation. First of all, you got to kick those jerks out of your life. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. If they're one of the 5, The users, the disrespecters, the put you down, the drag you down, and the liars, get rid of them. Okay? Once you've done that, / comma, why you do that, tell yourself this. Tell yourself you're going to be 4 things. You're going to be impeccable with your word. You are not going to make any assumptions. You're always going to do your best, and you don't take anything personal. Because these 4 things are the gas that make momentum turn, which makes motivation grow, which makes you move. 1, impeccable with your word. That means speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Don't sugarcoat stuff. Don't be like, well, I can't tell my friend Eric that he's still getting ready to get ready, because if I do, then he's going to feel like I disrespected him. Or I can't tell my friend Michael, you know, you spend so much time taking care of everybody else, you forgot to take care of yourself. Or I can't tell my friend Daryl, stop sitting around getting ready to get ready, because you're never going to get out of your house if you don't take the step out the front door. Speak what you mean. In other words, avoid using the word to speak against yourself. Avoid using anything that doesn't give you motivation. I've told you 1,000 times. You will never, ever, ever, cheap seats, they're never going to happen. Talk to anybody more than you talk to you, ever. Ever. Wake up, smack yourself. You're never going to talk to anybody more than you talk to you, so you better know how to say it. So you need to be remarkable with your words. You know what? A lot of people are going to say things like, well, I remember when he was young, he was a fibber face. Or I remember this one time he said this and it wasn't true. Okay, you can't fix the past. But damn it, fix the present and drive forward into the future with an impeccable word. On top of that, never make an assumption. Find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want to the world. Find the courage to ask questions, to look into things, to investigate things, to try to find how stuff works. Communicate as clearly as possible. Don't sugarcoat. Don't drag stuff around. Have a cup of coffee. Do what you got to do. With just this one agreement where you don't make assumptions on anything, you can transform your life. Listen, I remember back years ago, I was negotiating a lease for our restaurant, 150-seat restaurant. Now, this restaurant was in a place where 2 other restaurants before it had failed, but I was sure, I was positive that with what I was doing, it would succeed, and I was right. Now, the ending is the ending, and the beginning is the beginning, but I remember, the reason I bring it up is I was waiting for the negotiations with the landlord. We were chatting back and forth, and when it would take forever for him to respond, I made a whole bunch of assumptions and caused myself problems because none of my assumptions are ever right. You ever figured that out, guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, people, humans? Your assumptions 99% of the time are wrong. You ain't a mind reader. You know, I remember when I was a staff sergeant, E6 in the Army, and the sergeant major, E9, would call for me when I worked in the S3 shop. I would walk down the hallway, all the way down the hallway, in the most amazing battalion I was ever in, 4th of the 31st Infantry up at Fort Drum, New York. And I remember walking down that hall, going to the sergeant major, wondering about everything I might have done, didn't do, should have done, woulda, coulda, shoulda, did, why did I getting called to the office? And it was never about me. It was always about the job I was doing and taking care of a soldier. But because I had not made the agreement with myself not to make assumptions, I was assuming there was something wrong, right? Remember, don't take anything personal. Nothing others do is because of you. Nobody does anything because of you. You are not the motivational factor of anybody. I am not your motivational factor. Your momentum is. Don't take anything personal. When somebody says, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll shoot those videos for you and we'll get that thing going. And they don't. It ain't personal. You know, they have this little thing. You love to hear people say, oh, nothing personal, man. It's just business. Right. Nothing personal, man. It's just life. Life gets in the way. Right? Life. Living in the moment fully with energy. Life. Right? The acronym for life. But don't take it personally. What others say and do is a projection on their reality, not your dream. You know, I get so freaking grumpy. I really do. And I'm going to use the word grumpy. I get grumpy when I watch other people think their dreams are coming apart because of somebody else's action. What What the frickety frackety cock-a-poo-poo are you talking about? It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Listen, when you become immune to the opinions and actions of others, then you'll no longer be a victim of needless suffering. You'll no longer be affected by what they do. Listen, if you're going in a direction to do things, then get up and go there. Get up and go there. Get up. You know, when you get a text message at 4:30 in the morning in the middle of a podcast, look at it. Listen, don't. Just don't. I don't even know what to tell you. I really don't. It's not because I'm distracted. It's because I don't know how to tell you. You know, I just got through saying, communicate clearly. I'm trying to communicate with you. You can't allow other people's garbage to stink up your life. You can't allow other people's, you know, everybody's human. I am nowhere near perfect. I am so far away from perfect that perfect's not even on my scale. I do the best I can do. I have one target every day, and that is to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. And some days I find that challenging, and I'm sure you do too. Some days it's hard to figure out how to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday, except when I do the two things that are the biggest part of the motivational momentum part spoke of, the attitude shield. When I get rid of the 5 people and I follow the 4 agreements. The 5 people are get rid of people who disrespect you, use you, pull you down, drag you down, talk shit about you, lie to you, whatever it is. If they're negative, they got to go. And then I try to make sure that I'm always impeccable with my word. Whatever I say I do, it happens. And if I don't do it, I apologize and work on it. I don't make assumptions. I'm always trying to do my best, and I don't take anything personal. Always do your best. Now, your best is going to change. See, this is the part that people got to understand. Your best is going to change from moment to moment, right? I mean, your best when you're sick versus when you're healthy is one thing. Your best versus when you have a lot of money versus when you don't have any money. Your best when your heart is full, your heart is broken. Your best is relative to what's going on in your life, everybody. I get so bummed for folks that are like, well, my best today was just terrible. I just haven't been feeling like myself, so I didn't get to my best. Wait, do your best in the moment. It's very simple. Under any circumstances, simply do your best. And you do that by just getting away from self-abuse, getting away from rejection, getting away from self-judgment, getting away from anything. You make a target, everybody. You make a target, and you go after it every day. And you try to do the best you can to be better at what you're doing. And you get the momentum going so the motivation will follow. You keep your mind going in the right direction. Hey, listen, there is nothing wrong. I do it all the time, and I'm not even kidding. When you start thinking, when you start having, brain garbage, start having mind trash, start having anything in your head that's just bad, literally you can stop and say out loud, stop thinking like this. I do not allow this shit in my life. It's got to go. Get out. Goodbye. Be impeccable to your word. Don't make assumptions. Do your best, and your best is exactly what you can give at that moment. Sometimes it's going to be not what you want, but it's still your best at the moment. Right? Is there anything more that can actually be said about that? Not really. Look, thanks for tuning in. We're going to continue down the road next week with commitment, and the week behind that, we're going to have the trackable plan. That's the 4 spokes of the attitude shield, which helps it drive. These are the soft skills of personality, soft skills of our human existence with each other, that if we master and get better at all the time, then we're just going to be unstoppable. All right. Until the next show. I know some people are saying you need to do 2 shows a week. Well, maybe. We'll see. All right. Talk to you soon.
You've been listening to Attitude Shield, your double dose of espresso for your attitude. Check us out on Facebook and on the web at www.attitudeshield.com. Again, thanks for spending this time with us. Between now and when we talk again, keep those shields up, eyes on the target, and always be moving towards your dreams.